come to our mat, and we're just gonna come straight into downward dog here. All right, so just find whatever sort of triangle shape you want to create today. Settle in a bit there, pressing into your hands. No worries about bringing your heels to the ground. Just find a comfortable space there, and then let's walk our dog out. So bending one knee at a time. And starting to feel that lengthening just a little bit in your toes, the arches of your feet, your Achilles, your calves. Starting to be aware of your breathing rhythm maybe. Maybe you're actually already noticing that you're moving with your breath. Just do a couple more breaths here. Okay, then let's hold our dog still here. And now bend both knees so your shins are parallel with the floor. And then come back into downward dog. And again, bend your knees. Maybe inhale as you do that. And then exhale into downward dog. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, bend your knees. Exhale, downward dog. This time we'll bend our knees and then slowly walk our feet forward, coming into our forward fold. Remember, we want to keep our knees soft. Okay, this isn't about crazy stretching, about touching your toes. Just keep your knees soft. If you need to bend your knees and support your back a little more by bringing your upper body towards your thighs, that is perfectly okay. Let's take a couple breaths here. And in yoga, remember, we breathe in and out through our nose. Hopefully throughout the day and other activities too, but certainly now. Let's be intentional with it. Okay, so now let's take a moment to press our heels energetically away from each other so we're not actually moving our feet. But in that movement, or lack of movement, the energetic pushing away from each other, you might notice the power surge that comes through your legs. And hold that while you bring your hands to your shins and lengthen your spine into our half lift. If you prefer, you can always take it up more and bring your hands to your thighs. And let's come back down into forward fold. Holding that energetic push, your heels away from each other. Let's come all the way up with a nice long spine as we inhale. And then exhale through heart center, down into forward fold. Step one foot back and then the other, so we're coming into high plank. So with plank, you want to make sure that our back is supported, so it's nice and straight, it's not popping up, our hips are not popping up or popping down, right? So just hold nice and sturdy, and if that is not available to you today, then just bring your knees to the ground. We don't want to hurt our backs. All about self-care here. And then into downward dog. Okay, let's bend both knees. Walk your feet forward into forward fold. And now we'll do more of a flow. So we're going to move with our breath. So let's inhale to our half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up, still pressing those heels away from each other and a nice long spine. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, step your feet back into high plank. And now we'll add a low plank. So shift your body forward. You can do this on your knees too. Bend your elbows just to where they're in line with your ribs. That's low plank. And now come all the way to the mat. Press into the tops of your feet. Turn your quads outward. Lengthen your spine as you bring the crown of your head upward into cobra. And then let's push up through tabletop and into downward dog. Guess if you haven't figured it out, we are putting together a sun salutation. All right, let's bend both knees. Walk your feet forward into forward fold. And now let's do it again, but maybe a little bit more fluid. So let's inhale through our half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, step back into high plank. Shift forward, exhale, low plank, all the way to the ground. Inhale, cobra. And then exhale through tabletop and into downward dog. And let's inhale our right leg up now, up to the sky. Feel that lengthening through your hip. Breathe, strengthening our back, shoulders, glutes. And now let's bring that leg forward, placing our right foot between our hands in a low lunge. And just an FYI, whenever we're in a lunge, 90-degree angle here with our knee. We never want our knee to go over our toes, right? So now with your back foot, you're gonna replace the ball of your foot with your heel. And then we're gonna bring our body up. If you want to, bring your arms up. And we're in warrior one now. So with warrior one, our hips are kind of sort of facing the front of the mat, right? The short end of the mat. Soften your shoulders. And then reach up and a slight back bend. Feel that opening in your left hip. Breathe. Okay, come back up. Reach down. Turn that back foot so you're back in a lunge. And then from here, and you might notice that I have these blocks here. You have blocks, otherwise books, I don't know, water jugs, toilet paper rolls, whatever you got lying around. You can always use these for support. We're gonna, and you can also turn them like this, by the way. We're gonna bring our body up into a lunge, a high lunge, crescent lunge. So my back heel is off the floor. I'm balancing and I'm also strengthening and I'm lengthening. And breathe. Now if you want to, you can add a twist by bringing your palms together and then twisting over your front leg. Again, this is another opportunity to use whatever prop you want for extra help with the balance, if you want to. Just make sure when you're in a twist here, you're breathing, and be especially mindful of your exhale. One more breath here. All right, let's reach down now. Step back into high plank. Drop your knees if you prefer. We're gonna shift forward, low plank, and then back up and into downward dog. Let out a sigh, why not? And then inhale your left leg up. Again, reaching it up to the sky. I love to be able to say that because that means I'm outdoors. I often say that when I'm indoors too, though. All right, let's bring that leg forward. Placing your left foot between your hands in that low lunge. And then pivoting your back foot, replacing the ball of the foot with the heel. And then bring your body up. Warrior one. Soften your shoulders. And lengthen your spine up and back. Slight back bend. And come back up. And then reach down. Come back into that low lunge. You pivoted your foot back. And then same thing here, if you want to use your balance props, use a chair or two. Use whatever you need to use, a small child. And then we're going to bring it back up into our high lunge, crescent warrior. And again, if you want to, adding a twist. Life is full of twists. We might as well get used to them. If you want to, you can open your arms and breathe. All right, reach down, step back into high plank. Drop your knees if you want to, because you know push-up is coming. We're shifting forward, low plank, high plank, and downward dog. All right, let's take our right leg up. And now bring it forward, back into that lunge. Right foot is between our hands. So we're gonna bring our back foot back to that position so we can come to warrior one. And this time we're going to do a little balancing. So again, if you want to, you can use that prop that you have, or a chair or wall or whatever. We're going to reach over and swoop our arms through, raise our back leg. So imagine your body being kind of parallel with the ground as you're balancing on your right leg. And breathe. And now reach your hands down, step back into high plank, shift forward, down, up, and into downward dog. All right, let's do that on the left. Left leg up. Bring it forward to a low lunge. Replace the ball of your right foot with the heel. Bring your body up into warrior one. This simple move is really good if you're a runner, or if you're not a runner. It's good for everyone. All right, so same thing. We're gonna swoop arms through, hinge forward, raise our back leg. Breathe. And reach down. Step your feet back into high plank. Shift forward, low plank, high plank. And now we're going to take our plank onto our forearms. Okay, so, and just like with the high plank, if you would rather lower your knees to the mat, then do it, right? I am not the boss of you. No one is the boss of you. Do what you need to do, what your body is telling you it needs. Breathe. Okay, so again, if you want to, drop your knees if you haven't already, and place your right hand down, and then your left, come up into high plank. Back down onto your forearms. Place your left hand down, and then your right, coming up into high plank. Back onto your forearms. We're gonna do that one more time on each side, because I know your triceps want it. All right, let's place right hand, then left, coming up into high plank. Forearms, you warming up yet? And final time, left hand, then right. Shift forward, low plank, pause, 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 and then all the way to the mat. Awesome job. Take a couple of breaths here. I hope you can hear the water gurgling from my creek and the birds in my garden. It's so peaceful. All right, bring your hands over by your upper ribs. Press the tops of your feet into the ground. Rotate your quads outward. And then lengthen through your spine as you bring the crown of your head up toward the sky, cobra. Breathe. Feel that power all through your legs, your back. And exhale down. Let's bring our arms out to the side, so we're making the shape of a T. And then same thing here, we're going to press the tops of our feet into the mat, rotate our quads outward, lengthen through the spine, bring our body up, arms up. Make sure your neck isn't strained by looking up. Do whatever you need to do to keep it neutral. And then if you like, you can bring your legs and feet off the floor too. And just breathe here. And release. Okay, let's bring our hands to the upper ribs. Once again, pressing into the tops of our feet, rotating our quads outward and lengthening through our spine. Coming up into cobra. Breathe. And then push up into seal. And then come back into our first child's pose of the session. So we're sitting back in our heels, extending our arms forward. We just worked out our back quite a bit, so if you need to, do some circles here with your hips or shift them around, loosening those back muscles. Focus on your breath. Let's come back up onto all fours. Tabletop. So tabletop, we always want to have our wrists tracking under our shoulders, our knees under our hips. Do some quick cat-cows here. So as you inhale, you'll look up into cow pose, pulling your tailbone up to the sky, arching your back. And then as you exhale, flow the other way. So your chin comes towards your chest, your back curls into cat. Inhale up, exhale down. Let's do a few of these. Notice how this feels all along your spine, all those muscles that support your core, support our whole body, really. And we'll do one more breath cycle, and then pause in tabletop. So from here, from tabletop, we're going to come into modified side planks. So turning to the right, right arm is extended, right leg is extended, or whichever side, it doesn't really matter. We're going to get both. And then we're going to raise our leg and just pause there. You can flex your raised foot. If this does not feel good on your wrist or shoulder, your supported arm, you can always come onto your forearm. If it doesn't feel good on your raised arm, you can always bring your hand to your hip, your waist. Make sure you breathe. The only non-optional thing is breathing. Everything else is optional. And bring it back down onto all fours. I'm going to turn around. And so now we're going to do it to the other side. So extend the arm, leg. If you want to raise the leg for a little more work here, balancing, and breathe. actually going to stay in tabletop and just shift your hips over to the right, looking over your left arm. Notice that lengthening, that soothing perhaps feeling in your glutes, your lower back. What we just did really works that whole area of the abductors too. So just let's go to the other side. Hopefully this feels good. And back into tabletop. Okay, so let's curl our toes under, raise our knees off the mat, and come into downward dog. Okay, so bend both knees. Shins are parallel with the ground. Walk your feet forward, coming into forward fold. And then bend both knees, making sure your balance is on the back, on your heels. As you raise, lengthening your spine, you raise your torso up. So we're basically in fierce pose, a lightning pose, chair pose, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so make sure you can see your toes, because you're really sitting back there, and then bring your palms together. And then we're going to twist over to the right. You can open your arms if you want to. Breathe. You might want to take a peek at your knees and see if they're aligned. And if they're not, then just adjust your hips. Breathe. Okay, let's come through the center and twist to the left. Look down at your knees, make any adjustments. You can do this. One more breath. Back to center and forward fold. Take a couple breaths here. Okay, let's walk our feet out so they're about mat width apart. Bend both knees so you're coming down into a squat. And if this is not really working for you, remember you can always use a block or whatever prop you have and just sit on it. You'll still experience a lot of good stuff. All right, let's press through our heels as we come about halfway up. And then slowly come all the way up. Okay, let's come back down. So feeling that opening, that lengthening, and then as we come up, pressing through our feet and our legs, using the power in our body, right? Especially in the lower part. So keep doing this. Exhale down, inhale up. Next time maybe I'll bring some lighting so you can actually see me as opposed to a silhouette. But it's kind of nice to be in the dark. All right, let's pause at the bottom here. Let's come up halfway and pause. Feel that in your quads. Let's slowly come all the way up. Take a deep breath, reach your arms up. And exhale down. And come into like a forward fold with your legs still a little separated, and just pause here. If you want to, you can bring your hands to your elbows and just sway your body. All right, let's hold it still now. We're going to bring our feet back together, back into forward fold. So now let's inhale to our half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, walk your feet back into high plank. Shift forward, exhale, low plank. Come onto the tops of your feet. Inhale, upward dog. And exhale, downward dog. Take our right leg up. bring it forward, placing it between our hands, low lunge. You can always drop your back knee if you prefer. We're gonna do our twist. So we're twisting to the right into the front leg. Breathe. Notice how this feels in your front hamstring, IT band, your lower back, right shoulder. Okay, let's bring that hand back down. Come onto your back knee. Bring your body up. Palms together. Point your fingers up and lengthen back. And come back up. Now extend your front leg and then bring your heart toward that thigh. If you want to use those props you have, you can do so to bring the ground up to you. We never want to force any kind of stretches, right? It's more about softening. Especially, we can use our exhale for that. So maybe as you exhale, soften a little deeper into it. If you want to, always optional. All right, let's bring that foot flat. You know, scooch it out to the outside of the mat and bring your hands to the inside of your foot. If you want to, you can move all the way down onto your forearms if that's available to you. Of course, you can use a block for that too, or Yellow Pages dictionary, any of that archaic stuff. You still have that lying around. We can make this pose a little more active by curling our back toes under and raising our knee off the mat. Lizard. And toggle between the two. So just see what feels good for you right now. Where you want to be. And slowly come on up. And now we'll shift our right leg, our front leg, folding it in front of us. So we're coming into pigeon. So as always, remembering we want to keep our balance centered. We're not putting our weight into our front cheek. And then find a spot that feels comfortable for you. Maybe it's coming forward, crossing your arms, placing your forehead on your hands. Or you could even come all the way down, extend your arms forward and place your forehead on the mat. Do whatever feels right for you today in this moment. Slowly come on up. Ease that right leg back, coming into tabletop. Curl your toes under and into downward dog. Because yes, we are taking it to the other side. So let's take our left leg up and bring it forward, placing our left foot between our hands. And then again, if you want to, you can drop your right knee. Rotate into the front leg. Breathe. And then lower that arm. Come onto your back knee. Bring your body up, palms together. Point your fingers up and lengthen back. And then come back up. And now extend your left leg to feel your left hamstring. Okay, so come forward. See if you can hinge from your hip. Try not to round out your back too much. Use your props if you prefer. And breathe. To that foot, scooch it out to the left, bring your hands to the inside of it, and then if you want to, come down onto your forearms, if that's possible for you today. Then you can raise your back knee if you'd like. Notice how this feels in your whole groin area. And then from here, we're going to shift into pigeon on the left. So fold your left leg in front of you, centering your weight, and then coming forward. And breathe. Notice how this feels in your body. Bring our back leg around, bring our feet flat on the ground, and then reach your arms forward. Open up your heart, lengthen your spine, and come back just to where you feel your abs kicking in here, and breathe. If you want to, you can raise your feet off the ground into mini boat. Breathe. Two more breaths. And then come onto your back, bring your knees into your chest and give yourself a hug because you are freaking awesome. Yep, that crow agrees with me. All right, let's bring our feet flat on the ground. We're gonna do our last power move. Good. Bring those hips up into bridge. If you want to, you can clasp your hands underneath your back and then see if you can bring your shoulder blades toward each other and then perhaps bring your hips up. So notice the power in your quads, hamstrings, glutes, your back. Breathe. And then lower your hips down to the ground. Okay, so keeping your feet right there. Let's extend our arms out. So again, that shape of a T. And then just gently drop your knees toward the right side, again, without really shifting your feet. So at this point, you might feel a little bit of lengthening on the left side of your torso, like by your lower back, hip area. Just breathe there. Make sure both shoulder blades are on the ground here. And then bring your knees up. And then go the other way. Again, both shoulder blades on the ground, just your legs are shifting. And let's bring our knees back up. We're going to take our right foot onto our left knee. Bring your knees toward your chest. And then do a little roll over to the left, so you're coming onto your left elbow, and bring your knees in a little more, and you'll probably feel, hopefully what feels good, a lengthening in your right hamstring glute area, maybe your lower back. Come back to center, and then shift legs. So now we want to roll over onto our right elbow. Again, bring our knees in. Breathe. And come back to center. Bring your feet flat on the ground. And then bring the soles of your feet together, releasing your knees to the ground. And let out a sigh. we're just gonna slowly, gently come on up into our seated pose. So easy pose, legs crossed if that's comfortable for you. We're just gonna take a moment or two here before we re-enter the world, whatever that is. So let's just, if you feel comfortable doing so, you can close your eyes. Otherwise, look down at the floor in front of you. Sit up nice and tall. Soften your shoulders. Soften your forehead, cheekbones, jawbones. And let's bring our palms together at heart center and take a moment to thank our body for showing up for us today in all of its strength, power, wisdom, resilience, patience, and beauty inside and out. Now let's all take a deep breath. And then as you exhale, you can bow forward if you want to. Peace. All right, that is it for now. So I hope you enjoyed that really quick little workout flow. And I'll see you next time. Thanks, bye.